Go ahead.
Okay, here we have the Virgin Islands Daily News, November 8, 2012, documenting there are 1,538 ballots still sealed in their envelopes in stacks of 25. Again, collaborating the figure here as well as our personal figure, the Avis, November 8th, 2012, 1,538 paper ballots as well. Now we move on to the Daily News on November 22nd after the certification is done, and this is what is printed, which confirms with the certification itself. The actual certification that date of the 21st of November signed. These are my notes, my footnotes. Basically, you're seeing, but figures, they all are consistent with what you just saw in the Daily News for the November 22nd. Okay, basically this is just a tip of the iceberg. We have had to request these tally sheets from January through Judge Finch, and nothing had taken into material being until we filed a case with Superior Court just recently. In June, we were finally allowed to view these tally sheets, and I made copies of them. And these were also viewed by Mr. Justin Harrigan as well. These are my personal notes, which confirms with their figures as well and their actual documents. These are tally sheets. They're copied, so they're black and white. However, they're actually green in the real form. And I just wanted to share with you, here you have walk-in tally sheets. This is an official certification, which is signed by Alicia Wells, Lawrence Bashalta, Colette White Amaro, Harry Daniel, and Lorna Thomas. And in the certification, just by looking on November 10th at the walk-in tally sheet and having 3 votes only for myself, you have Zeke Myers having 6 only. And to go back, I apologize, you have 41 here on the first page for myself and having 3. Here, Zeke Myers, he has 6. Actually, he had 60 votes on just this one tally sheet. Miss Mercer Harriet had 51 votes on this particular tally sheet. There you go, she has 3 in the actual certification. To go on, this is confirmed by Colleen Wallace, Karen Blyden as well, and Elise Frazier, November 10th. And to move on, I want to show you, they switched tally sheets after they have filled the block. And on the second round of voting, again, walk-in tally sheets. Elise Frazier on this one, there was 26 votes in addition to the 41 that you just saw, which I should have received 67. Mr. Zeke Myers received another 37. They gave him only 6. So this figure plus the figure you heard earlier is the actual figure, and again he only received 6. The Harriet Mercer as well, she received 3, and for her here there's another 39. Total for Miss Mercer should have been 90. Total for Mr. Myers should have been 97, and total should have been 67 in my set of votes as well. So just showing you, this is only November 10th and just how short the figures are. We'll be moving on because in addition to that, there's a whole day that is actually missing. We have the 13th of November, which there is a count here of 66. Here in my personal notes, I wanted to show you as well election walk-in absentee, 26 on my personal notes, 26 on their notes as well. Mr. Myers, there's 37. Mr. Myers, 37. Miss Mercer, 39. Miss Mercer, 39 on the 10th. That's just one day. Here in the second part of that day, in the count as well, you have 41 for myself. Here it is, 41 in their personal documents as well. Here is 60 in my count. Here is 60 for Mr. Myers, which confirms, and Miss Mercer as well, 51, and there's the 51. We have been shorted along with other candidates, I'm sure, and just wanting to show you we've been vindicated because our records reflect what their records had as well.
Except for the ones where they were missing votes on a whole day.
Yes, exactly. And this is missing votes as well. And
November 10th?
November 10th is the missing votes as well. This is missing the whole day on the 13th. This is completely missing. And I will come back to this in just a minute because I want to show you. I want to show you as well. Here, here on the 14th of November, we have the summary at poll tally sheet, which is the only day that's actually on the certification, which you can see the figure here. You can see the 217 there. You can go down. There you go. Here you go again. 311 for Mr. Myers. Miss Mercer, 281 in the certification, 281. Okay, and that's on the 14th Board of Elections. And like I said, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Here on the 13th, you have my here is showing. Let me pull up my records. Yes, this is the 13th count, which is completely missing from the certification here.
A whole day just missing,
entire day missing and gone. Okay, and we have figures here on their 13th, separate and aside to the 14th, which you have the total here. Again, 253. And you go down the list of all the other candidates and you see the totals there. However, this is the 14th and the 13th, sorry, I apologize. 66 is their count. On the 13th of my records, there is my 66 right there. You have Mr. Azik Myers having 89, which it's right there as well, number 7. And Miss Harriet Mercer having 86 in my records. And there it is as well. So they're all documented between the two. Now, we'll go on, there's more. Okay, on the 13th of November, we have Elise Frazier. And here we have myself at 65, and there's a 65. We have Mr. Azik Myers here at 101, which you'll see the figure right up here. Very fuzzy, or you can come down a little further as well. There's 108 I have. Then we'll go on to Let me see, Miss Karen Blyden as well, having the same 65 figure, and 101 for Mr. Myers, and Miss Harriet Mercer 92, and the 92 is right there. This is 101, I guess, right there for Mr. and this is a 65.
And these are your personal notes that you took.
These are my personal
notes.
notes.
Could you tell us how you got those notes?
By sitting in the Board of Election count every day for almost 9 days. A group of us rotated and collected notes. And this is how we ended up with that particular. So here we have, on mine you have, let's see, over here, 87. Let's see, Board of Elections, 21. Here we go. 21, there's the 21. Then we have Azik Myers with the 30. We have Miss Mercer with the 36. And then you have the 122 that's here in the second column of that two tally total. These are the totals here from both the 36 and the 122, which you see both figures in Miss Mercer. Then you come up to Mr. Myers. There is the 30 here and the 119. So you get 149 on the 13th. Again, this entire day is missing. On my number 5, Miss Magras, you have the 21 here and the 87 here, which gave me another 108 votes. So this is too evident of an entire day.
So you're saying votes were simply just removed?
Just completely deleted for the 13th. The 13th was never part of this particular certification.
It's not on the certification.
It is not.
It's in your notes, but it appears nowhere on the certification.
Exactly.
And the point that you're proving when you show days that your records match up exactly to their records proves that your handwritten notes are accurate.
Right.
Are true and correct.
And we have been vindicated as well, because our notes match their actual tally sheets, which their tally sheet do not reflect what is on the certification. And this is what I have been saying since November 22nd on Mr. O'Brien's show, that there are missing votes for the 10th.
So what are the numbers that I'm focusing in on right now? What are the numbers in your notes in red?
In red are the actual votes that were missing via paper ballot. I had another 229. This is Mr. Myers had another 346. Miss Mercer actually had 136 for just the 13th.
Okay, so let's point to Miss Myers, and we're gonna see.
Mr. Myers.
Okay, and so what's the number that they have?
They have 346 on Mr. Azik Myers, Jerry Azik Myers.
So the red is whose number? Your number or the election?
This is my number, but if you total the at poll missing plus the missing day, this is the total that you're missing. This is the only figure that is reflected on the certification.
So 311 is on their records and you have 346.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
346 more.
Oh.
Because you have a whole day missing. You have an entire day missing. There's actually over 600 votes that are missing from the certification as well. There's actually over 600 votes missing here, and there's 888, and there should be over 1,538 votes.
So then what is the number that you're pointing at there that's 888?
888 is at poll paper ballots. The walk-in, again, there is missing figures from the walk-in as well, which you've seen earlier in prior documents of their own, their tally sheets that they have on record. Now, after having the authorization to finally get into count, we got into count and we were able to count up until the 28th of June, I believe was the last day. They stopped us on a Friday. And after the police report was made, we had here a total.
So again, what you're pointing at here,
what I'm referring,
these are your personal notes.
Yes. And we have the actual individual candidate count, but these are a quantity of ballots. What you're seeing is the quantity of ballots. I counted 294. There was, after we were put out of the count, or before we were put out of the count, I did a piece count of what was missing in the bin. What was in the bin, uncounted. This is all the figures that I counted that were individually packed with rubber bands that were uncounted. 419, 18 provisional, which are green color ballots. This is my count that I got through. This is Mr. Warner's count. He did 603 piece count, and then Miss Loran was able to help us with 147. We had some uncounted because we really had to rush. So that was 50 plus that were uncounted, and our figures took us to over 1,500. And again, that reflects back to this certification, which right here, the certification where we had 1,500 ballots that we were able to actually tangibly touch. Why is there only 888 here under certification? It should have been over 15. It should have been at least 1538.
By your personal count?
By our count and their records as well.
And whose, could you go down the signatures that are on this certification one by one?
Yes, this is Alicia M. Wells, chairman. We have Lawrence Bushelta, secretary. We have Colette White Amaro, member. Harry A. Daniel, member. And Lorna A. Thomas, also a member. That signed off. So right here again, this reconfirms the over 1,500 with giving a ballpark figure of this 50.
So coming from the top, you got the 45, 25, 25.
Right,
all of those added
to 419.
Brought you up to 15.
Over 1,500.
And they've only got 88. So
exactly.
That's an awful lot of missing.
For over 600 votes are missing, minimum.
Wow.
Minimum. And like I said, this is just a tip of the iceberg. We found other issues. I have, in addition to that, unaccounted names that are actually here and on the tally sheets that are not in the certification as well. 70 plus names are missing in total that are unaccounted for, that candidates wrote in as, that was wrote in as candidates. And I hope I have given you a little information so that you can see for yourself in black and white here just how they have played with these figures and played with our lives here in the territory for so long. And this is what caused a lot of distress on the people.